Good morning. Welcome back to Tuesdays with Paula. I'm Paula K Bronte, your Master RapidEye technician. And today we're talking about personal power. And we are going to have a live RapidEye session. So stay tuned. Personal power, what do you think of when you hear that term? Speak it to yourself now for a moment and just get a sense. Personal power. Where do you feel it in your body? Take a breath and come into your body for a moment and say the words personal power. Where do you feel them? When I speak it, think it, hear it, and maybe partly because of my training, I think of the third chakra. Personal power has everything to do with the function of the third chakra, which is a vital energy center within the body. Those of you who don't know what a chakra is, it's an energy center that allows a life force to flow and govern particular parts of our bodies and experiences in our lives. And the third chakra in particular has to do with personal power. And it's right here at the solar plexus. I don't know if you can see me, but it's at the solar plexus. So the third chakra governs everything below the breast line to the waist. And it's the digestive system. So let me ask you, how many people have digestive issues? How about you? Do you have any kind of digestive issues? If you don't, I am almost positive that you would know somebody that does. It's becoming an epidemic these days. Digestive issues are just rampant. And of course, there's a lot of reasons for it on the physical level, apparently. However, we're very trained to look at the effects. Right? And what I do in RapidEye and in my sessions is go to the cause. It's all about cause. And the chakra system is at the core of the cause of either health and well-being or ill health. And so that third chakra has to do with personal power. And when your personal power is strong and clear, and that third chakra is opening and functioning well, then you live in a state of personal power. Now, what does that mean? What does personal power mean? It means, in my experience, and in what I've seen in 20 years of working with many people who come in not having any idea of what personal power is, it means being able to be self-referenced. That's a new word. I think I've made it up. I've used it a lot, and people say, I've never heard that. I've looked it up. I haven't seen it. Self-referenced. When you're able to refer within to that inner guidance system, as Abraham Hicks calls it, when you're able to go into and trust your gut and reference yourself and see the world and experience the world from an inner state of connectedness and knowing really who you are and being true to yourself in the presence of others' expectations. When we can do that, we begin to harness that deep sense of self and personal power, of just knowing who we are, having strong boundaries, having a sense of self-worth, knowing our value, being able to decipher what's true for somebody else and what's true for me. And the RapidEye session we're going to do today is about archetypes. Now, each chakra, and we've got actually 12 of them. Many of you may know about the 7 chakras that are in the body. Each chakra is connected to a particular archetype. All right, so what's an archetype? An archetype is Carolyn Myss does a lot of wonderful work around archetypes. For instance, if you know the teacher Carolyn Myss, and Carl Jung first talked about them extensively. Archetypes are a particular pattern or an identity. For instance, I'll give you some examples and then you'll be able to click on and say, oh, I know what she's talking about. Victim, a martyr, the servant, the joker, right? We all have been, when we were kids in school, the kid that was the joker. That's an archetype. A prostitute is an archetype. So their identities, their particular actual thought forms. What's happened over the centuries is that human thought has emanated an energy that has created an actual energy form, and we identify with them, either because of what's going on genetically, right? The DNA, archetypes can be passed down through generations, right? Victim, how many of you are martyr? Martyr's a great one too, if we're speaking to women particularly. How many of you have had mothers, grandmothers, great-grandmothers that you know of that did all kinds of martyr kind of things, self-sacrifice? So these are archetypes. And what we're going to work with today, it's relevant to the third chakra, And personal power is the servant or the slave. And when I say that, you may think, oh, I'm not a servant, I'm not a slave. How many of you will, as a pattern habitually, and you may not be clear on this in the moment, so just kind of chew on it this week. How many of you will do something for someone else at your own expense? How many of you will say, okay, well, that's important, that they need it, it's important for them, so I'm going to do it? How many of you will do things for others so that you can ensure that you'll be valued, loved, important? Right? So the servant, if you think literally about the servant, they serve others, they do things for others because it's their survival, it's their well-being. They get paid to do that. And of course, there's positive service where we come from the heart and we serve and we give, and in the giving we're receiving. Right? That's a healthy servant. The one we're referring to today is the servant that feels powerless, the slave. Right? The history of slavery that we have in our genes, it goes from the very beginning, right? And we have been enslaved in one way or another for countless generations. And that DNA, that propensity to be the slave has really gone through lots of evolution, but it's still here. And so that the need to slave, we even see it in our economic system, jobs. There we get paid, but slavery is slavery, and it hits here. How many of you are doing jobs, or you know people that are going to work every day, hating their jobs, dreading their jobs, getting sick, but they're doing it because they have to survive? It's still a slavery mentality. And when we have a third chakra that's open and flowing and powerful, and the other chakras are also open and in support of that particular major central channel, then we begin to shift out of that mentality. We begin to say, okay, what do I want? Do I really have to buy into the old construct of keeping a job that I hate, that's making me sick to my stomach, so that I can survive and support my family? We're beginning to now, in this new consciousness, using our superpowers and harnessing our ability to put our attention on what's possible. We're beginning to widen and expand into a new level of what's possible. And that's coming because this third chakra is going through major evolution. And in the evolutionary process, many people are getting sick in this chakra, and many people are healing and expanding and making changes that take them from that old slavery mentality that is the old consciousness into the new consciousness of knowing that they can be something more. And that something more, actually, in the particular RapidEye session we're going to do right now, has a name. But I'm going to save it for you till we get to that point. So we're going to work with archetypes today. And each archetype, according to the RapidEye session that I do, we go through all the 12 chakras with this particular session. We're going to do just a short one this day on the third chakra. And what we do is take a look at the fact that there's two sides to every story, two sides to the coin. So the lower functioning, the lower vibratory frequency of servant or slave that sits within this third chakra can be raised, because every frequency can be changed, just like you can change a musical note. It's becoming that easy for us. We can shift the frequency of servant and slave to a higher frequency. And that higher frequency will be named when we get to the end of this particular little RapidEye session. And I personally love it. I think it's a fabulous identity. And you'll see why when I speak it. Okay, so let's begin. RapidEye. Here's my wand, my high-tech wand, eye directing device. And so I'm going to be using it. You don't focus on it, but I'll be using it because it will be directing energy, even remotely. Many of my sessions are remote, and I will sit on the Skype session and move my eye directing device, and you're not really looking at it, right? But I am directing energy with it. So during this session, you'll be looking straight ahead. You're just going to find a spot in front of you, and you're blinking. And it's a rapid blinking. It looks like this. Okay? And just find the spot and begin blinking. Before we go into it, we're going to stop for a moment and get our left brain and right brain to work together. So we're going to move our eyes all the way to the left and to the right. side. Just do this quick, side to side, left brain, left side, right side. There we go. This is just going to get those hemispheres working together so that you can go into the session in a more centered, balanced way. So side to side, all the way to the left and to the right. Just get them moving side to side. It looks like this, as fast as you can. Left side, left and right. Good. Keeping your head very straight. And when your eyes begin to get tired and you feel like you need to blink, you'll just stop and squeeze tight open 3 times. Tight open, and take 3 big breaths. In through your nose. And really let it out. Give your body permission to sigh and release that tension. 2 more times. Big breath. And again. That's the quick release. Those of you that have been following me, you be familiar with that tool. And I do it at the beginning of every session to bring you into center. Okay, so now let's begin. Close your eyes and take a breath. And imagine an energy form being created in the form of a servant or slave in this lifetime and in the DNA. This energy form follows you everywhere you go until it is healed. The more times you feel like a servant, the stronger the energy form or archetype becomes. On a scale of 1 to 10, how powerful have you made this archetype or pattern? Notice it activates the 3rd chakra, just above your navel, where many of us feel powerless. Open your eyes and looking straight ahead, finding a spot on the wall and blinking. And blink, 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 and releasing. Releasing from all parts of the system. Just keep blinking and giving the body the activation and a permission to release. And hear all that resistance to learning self-power, self-worth, and having strong boundaries. Feel all that resistance and fear, self-power, self-worth, and having strong boundaries. Let it go, blink it out, dissolve it, and we now activate pure light. Remember and release all the resistance to decisiveness and being important. Oh, I couldn't choose that. I can't decide. It's too hard to decide. What if I make a decision and the other person doesn't like it? Then they won't like me and it'll be my fault. Releasing all that resistance, all the fear to decisiveness. What if I make this decision, this choice, and I can't handle it because I'm not good enough? Releasing all the self-doubt. Releasing all that resistance to decisiveness and being important. Letting it go, blink it out. Terrified to be important. The last time I was important, I was persecuted for it. Letting it go. 7, 8 lifetimes ago, I was persecuted for my importance, for my power. Let it go, release it. Going deep into the DNA and releasing all the persecution, imprints, all the implants of being persecuted. Afraid to be important. Let it go, release it. Cancel all the times when things just didn't matter. Oh, it doesn't matter, that's okay. I'm not going to worry about it now. It's as if it never happened. Let it go. Just going to pretend. Doesn't matter. Let it go, release it, blink it all out, and activate pure light. See and release all the results of having weak boundaries. Blinking it out, letting it go. I have to say it's all right. Can't have a strong boundary. Can't say no. Terrified to say no. They may abandon me. Let it go, release it. And not having strong boundaries. Releasing all those places, all the implants, all the information that you've received saying it's not okay to say no. Let it go, release it. Erase it and activate pure truth. Activating pure truth. Release the pattern of poverty and lack consciousness. Letting it all go. Release it. Releasing poverty and lack consciousness. That hits right there with that 3rd chakra. I don't deserve to have enough. Let it go. Poverty and lack consciousness. Releasing it. Having money means having power, and I'm afraid I'm too small to have power. Let it go. Releasing all the poverty and lack consciousness. And we now activate divine abundance. We now, in this moment, activate divine abundance. Release all the tired, lack of time, lack of money, procrastination, being neglected and stuck in doing. Doing, have to work hard, have to make money, letting it go. Release all the tired, lack of time, lack of money, procrastination, being neglected and stuck in doing. Let it go, blink it all out, blink out all layers, levels, dimensions, lifetimes, and activate pure light and truth. And just keep blinking, and we release it, release it, release it, release it. Delete it, delete it, delete it, delete it. Let it go, breaking it all up. Release it, release it, release it. Break it up, break it up. Breaking up all that heavy energy, breaking up all these blocks in the third chakra. Breaking it up, let it go, breaking up all the implants and all the blocks in this third chakra. Just blinking, blinking, coming in, gather it up, release it to the light, release it to the light, release it to the light, release it. Looking to your left side and your right side. Keeping the head straight, left brain, left side, right side, and squeeze tight, open, squeeze tight, open, squeeze tight, open. Take a big breath. One more time, gather up all that energy we've been channeling and recycle it and breathe it out, let it dissolve. And one more time, nice big breath, recycle the energy and breathe it to the light. Good job. Okay, close your eyes and say to yourself, I am not the servant that I perceived. I can be whatever I choose. I am not the servant or slave that I perceived. I can be whatever I choose. Remember a time when you were in control of your own energy. Imagine taking what you would rather be and seeing it as an overlay. Imagine what you'd rather be and seeing it as an overlay. Place it over the picture in your mind of being a slave or a servant. And notice the picture completely changes to a spiritual warrior archetype. A spiritual warrior. Archetype, pattern identification. Notice how that feels. Be aware that just above your navel, your third chakra energy has shifted to a higher frequency of intuition, self-confidence, self-worth, and personal power. Open your eyes and begin to blink. Be aware of an energy shift in the third chakra. I enhance the life I am living. I look inside myself for what I want. I look inside myself for what I want. I'm self-referenced. I always think only of that which I want. Therefore, I only attract that creation. I'm experiencing everything I need to find what I desire. I'm experiencing personal power. I'm the creator of my life. I attract things in life from my definition of me. I love that one. I attract things in life from my definition of me. I'm aware of my creative life force. I am strong boundaries. I'm safe to have strong boundaries. Let it in, receive it into every cell of your body and DNA. And just notice how that feels. Close your eyes for a minute and breathe right into your body. Notice how that feels. All right, and when you're ready, open your eyes. And that's just one chakra in that particular RapidEye session. We go through all the chakras and all the different archetypes. It's one of my favorites. So my prayer for you this week is that as you wake every morning, you take a moment and breathe into that third chakra and call forth your personal power. I am powerful because I am a connected spiritual warrior. I'm connected to my highest self. I'm connected to Source. I am connected to the highest frequency in all of creation. And I walk this world in my personal power as a spiritual warrior. I pray that that's the gift I've given you today, to remember that every day. Okay, so business. Here's my book, Called to Mastery, Living the Art of Ascension. You can find it on Amazon, Kindle, and ebook. And I do want to mention, speaking of personal power, many of us that suffer from a lack of it have been abused in various ways as children. I've mentioned that in the past. And as we go forward, next week probably, we'll be talking about RapidEye technology and children who have experienced sexual or violent abuse and how to raise their frequency and bring them up to this land of spiritual warriors. All right, everyone. Bless you so much. Have an amazing, powerful week. Thank you.